My friends, I'm going to let you in on one of the most profoundly life-changing secrets for achieving monumental success and massive fulfillment of your grandest ambitions that's perhaps never been so clearly articulated. It's a timeless, universal principle hardwired into the very fabric of our existence, responsible for producing every blessing, every accomplishment, wealth, or state of ideal a human being has ever experienced. Yet it has remained all but invisible to most, tragically dismissed as implausible pseudoscience or mystical flim-flam. But for those of us who have discovered this remarkably potent creative force and learned to wield its incredible metaphysical capacities, let me assure you, invoking this supreme law is quite simply the most powerful technology a driven, ambitious person could ever hope to command in the pursuit of their loftiest visions. What is this esoteric enigma I'm tantalizingly hinting at, you ask? Well, to put it plainly, it is the law of assumption. The core premise that your external circumstances and experiential reality in the outer world are but malleable mirrorings and expressions of the inner assumptions, convictions, and beliefs you hold within the boundless theater of your consciousness. My friends, nothing in your manifest world is as solid or concretized as you've been conditioned to believe. What you currently experience as your objective day-to-day reality is essentially a holographic projection originating from the unified field of assumptions and beliefs, taking up psychospiritual residence in your imagination. All forces, phenomena, events, conditions, and dynamics playing out around you in the sensory-based external world are merely conscious thought forms calcified through the inertia of habitual reinforcement and emotional investment in those predominant assumptions. This means that whatever frustrations, conflicts, struggles, or perceived limitations encumbering you right now are not objective realities that must be suffered or battled against through perpetual effort and struggle, but are simply outmoded belief systems that have anchored your subconscious creative capacities within those vibrational experiential bandwidths. I know this may seem almost too fantastical to accept at first glance, but stay with me here and I will break down how this elusive mastery key, this creative algorithm of consciousness that all great thought leaders and mystics throughout the ages harness, manifest to greatest accomplishments, can completely reshape the entire landscape of your reality from the quantum level up. You see, everything you are presently experiencing through your senses in 3D physicality is essentially a vibrational impression being decoded into experiential form by the lenses of your brain's neurological patterning and psychospiritual assumptive filters. Just because your current realities and circumstances feel solid, immutable, irreversible, or tragically predetermined as you encounter them with your conscious mind, does not make them any less transient, illusory thought forms awaiting conscious recalibration and transmutation from the unified field of source consciousness that births all experiential realities into manifestation through individuated human consciousness units like your own. The great secret masters and avatars throughout history demonstrated mastery over this source technology by fully inhabiting and authenticating their consciousness into unwavering assumptions which would then invariably precipitate into physical materialization before their very eyes. Buddha, Jesus, Rumi, Neville Goddard, and other illumined beings revealed the key to wielding this supreme transmuted force. Every single one of them perfected the unbendable discipline of constantly refreshing their imagination with mental assumptions and psychoactive ideation patterns completely delinked from the apparent outer circumstances of their existing reality conditions. You see, the conscious mind is but the surface-level interface that humanity remains regrettably hypnotized within and confined by throughout the vast majority of our societal conditioning. And so long as we remain stubbornly tethered to the dogmas, assumptions and belief systems reinforced by the conscious conceptual mind alone, we are essentially swimming against the immense currents of our own creative source energies. For below the superficial materialistic five-sense perception of the conscious mind lies the vast unconscious depths, the metaphysical unified field birthing all experiential phenomena into manifestation through the unified dreaming imagination of humanity's collective consciousness. And this subterranean creative underspace is eternally regenerative. It flows with infinite potentialities, parallel possibilities, and subjective experiential realities, awaiting conscientation invitation into materialization. From each of our individuated consciousness units are tuning our uniquely oscillating frequencies into specific resonant bandwidths. In other words, you are quite literally a God-mind source particle of infinite unbridled creative potentiality which has temporarily hypnotized itself into a particular experience of limitation and subjected itself to outmoded belief systems that no longer serve an expansive awakening into your fullest powers of mastery consciousness. But the solution, the activation sequence for realigning the totality of your experiential reality into triumphant wish fulfillment and limitless manifestation of your most wildly luminous dreams, lies in fully awakening from that illusory trance of disempowerment through the supreme power of consistent conscious assumption. You see, the unified field of subconscious energy interpenetrating all experiential planes is essentially flawless in its mirroring of whatever resonant frequencies emanate from your consciousness feedback loop between the conscious conceptual mind, the subconscious unified field. This is why the outer world of conventional material reality appears to the spiritually unawakened to be such an inflexible, rigidly causality-bound construct, operating strictly by immutable physical laws. It is because the vast majority of humanity remains profoundly hypnotized by and entrained within the limiting collective thought forms, assumed boundaries, and perpetually reinforced belief patterns comprising the egoic paradigms comprising this particular sliver of relative experiential reality we've been collectively dreaming into manifestation. We become so deeply conditioned to believe the singular thought forms that solidify as our seemingly concrete objective daily reality are the only thought forms available for us to experience, that we've tragically disavowed our own creative source omnipotence and ability to instantaneously retransmit entirely new rewritten beliefs into the imagination and have them regeneratively expressed as wished-for experiential revelation. The solution then is to pierce the veil of that illusion once and for all time, to summon the heroic self-discipline to incrementally release our energized assumptions and beliefs that have rooted us in an experience of limitation, struggle, and frustration, so that we can begin flexibly assuming entirely new belief systems and imaginal thought forms perfectly aligned with our wildest visions and highest aspirational ideals. Listen closely, my friends, your perceived objective circumstances, no matter how bleak, tragic, frustrating, lack-filled, or even altogether wretched they appear to your conscious mind's present interpretation. They are simply malleable conscious thought forms continuously regenerating through your subconscious assumptions and creative source ideation. This means that you can, if you so choose, consciously elect to initiate an entirely rewritten set of belief systems through inhabiting a vivid, alternate, imaginal assumption within the emotional body that feels absolutely real, authentic, and presently valid to your subconscious creative energies. By doing so, you awaken those dormant, infinite, godlike potentialities of your consciousness and realign their intrinsic transmutative powers into a wholly new experiential revelation stream that invariably crystallizes into equivalent phenomenal manifestation through the perfect biofeedback loop of consciousness regenerating form. But this pivotal key of consciously exerting your power of infinite potentiality, this recoding process of birthing new thought form realities into manifestation, requires an all-in commitment of fully imbibing the psychoactive assumption that already feels like a presently materialized actuality. For you see, the unified source field from which all realities pattern into experiential formation is but a mirror throwing back reflections and vibrational equivalents based on the emotional body's baseline psychoactive assumptions and habitually embodied thought forms. If you unconsciously sink into dejected emotional states of lack consciousness and a reinforced assumption of perpetuated poverty, frustration, and absence of abundance, then those become the immutable thought form seeds you are subconsciously sowing over and over into the infinite potential of the creative source field. And based on its perfect fidelity, the universe simply throws back that reflection into physicalized manifestation as your continual experiential construct of lack, barriers to fulfillment, and repeated patterns of perceived scarcity and dissatisfaction. But when you instead apply the disciplined focus and emotional body immersion into a psychoactive feeling state of having already realized your wildest prosperity, abundance, health, relationships, and creative ideals, and fully inhabiting those wishful realities as though they are presently accomplished facts in consciousness, you activate a complete harmonic resonance, reset through which the subconscious phenotype fad field has no choice but to mirror that heightened frequency into spontaneously regenerating as your brand new material reality. You see, while many spiritual and self-improvement teachings profess the importance of goal setting, positive psychology, and emotional mastery over the mindset for success, very few clearly highlight the radical power available to those willing souls who simply inhabit an uncompromised psychedelic assumption of their wishes already being fulfilled as an unshakable and presently acknowledged absolute within their being. It is precisely through this laser-focused application of consciousness immersion into an already accomplished result that each and every one of us possesses the power to completely rematerialize, reconfigure our seemingly objective universe instantaneously into the wildest dreams imaginable. The unified field of consciousness birthing all experiential realities into creative reflection does not deal in efforts, timelines, or incremental struggle. It responds instantly with perfect biophysical unity to whatever imaginal thought form it is instructed to reflect as existential subjective experience through our consciousness units. So in any instant that you fully release the outmoded belief systems and assumptions that have mirrored forth circumstances of limitation or absence into your day-to-day material reality, and instead initiate an uncompromised psychoactive alternative thought form of your desires being fulfilled in the eternal now moment, then the entire cosmos itself has no choice but to holographically mirror that into material experiential revelation. Now, I do want to offer a word of caution at this juncture. We are speaking of awakening authentic powers that reshape all surrounding circumstance with the force of infinite creative potentiality. So this is by no means a casual undertaking or parlor trick that can be trifled with by the faint of heart. Mastering this supreme principle is a high art requiring patience, crystalline clarity, and fiercely single-pointed concentration that uncompromisingly embodies the emotional reality of the wish-fulfilled state as already realized. For you see, as we've established, the unified field of subconscious potentiality birthing all appearances into existence is essentially a flawless feedback loop of vibrational reflection, mirroring whatever thought form harmonics are amplified and reinforced through the consciousness interface of our individuated awareness field. Which means that any moment of doubt or lingering attachment to the counterproductive assumptions and negative emotional states comprising your previously ill-conceived experiential reality will create a backflow and short circuit in the assumption stream you are attempting to amplify into reality transmission. Just like trying to get a stalled engine to cycle back into full operancy, even the slightest backflash or opposing rotational movement in the wrong direction will effectively reset the process, undoing any accumulative turnover toward manifesting your new destinal assumption. So a core piece of this mastery art involves demolishing any remaining traces of your consciousness that still subconsciously identify or remain attached to the thought forms and emotional constructs that comprise your old experience of limitation, lack, or dissipation. You must resolve to fully disconnect from and dissolve all agencies and anchor points of identity associated with that outdated vibrational projection of illusory selfhood by transferring the entirety of your consciousness and emotional body into uninhibited resonance with the psychoactive desired fulfilled assumption that will transmit into your new materialized experiential reflection. This is why so many spiritual teachers emphasize the parallel importance of vigilantly monitoring one's state of being, emotional embodiment, and psycho-emotional energies as passionately as controlling the conscious mind itself. For it is that unified energy flow between the conscious imagery and subconscious emotion body that crystallizes belief structures into resonant experiential mirrors. But once the hurdle of fully releasing obsolete mindsets and detaching from any lingering energetic association with outmoded selfhood concepts is surmounted, and you cross over into fully embracing, feeling, sensing, and emotionally encoding the wish-fulfilled assumption into your vibrational lens matrix, you instantaneously enter into a harmonic entrainment process. For in that supreme eternal moment of fully accepting and validating the new fulfillment construct without any subconscious contradictions, counterproductive thoughts, or divided psycho-emotional associations with limitation, you instantly unlock your God-mind creative capacities into free-flow expression through the consciousness of your being. No longer compressing and constricting that infinite potential into repetitive cycles of impoverished thought forms, you essentially allow the new ideation flowing through the fountainhead of your consciousness to regenerate spontaneously as your new experiential materialization. And it is through persistently sustaining that authentic embodiment, breathing life into every visceral nuance of the wish-fulfilled imaginal atmosphere through your emotion body's amplified signal, that the deltas between your current reality and its inevitable reharmonization into your new vibration incrementally phase into congruence. My friends, through this unwavering discipline and courageous commitment to seeding and amplifying the fulfillment assumption into omnipresence through your consciousness and emotional body, you literally become the unified field of consciousness itself, dreaming new experiential revelation into existence through your individuated light source. The former trappings of limitation, scarcity, struggle, or any manifestation unaligned with those pristine vibrational thoughts you've elected to broadcast simply have no choice but to fade into ever-increasing dissolution, falling away like shards from the obsolete archetypal patterns you previously reinforced through fear, doubt, and hesitation. I understand this is heady, almost recklessly empowering stuff, But know that you carry within you this ability to reshape and regeneratively transmit new desired experiential realities into phenomenal manifestation as easily as you would change the channel to receive a different radio signal or television program. And the activating mechanism for awakening this infinite creative God power is to simply stop compromising. To stop compartmentalizing or rationalizing away your lingering associations with the thought forms and emotional atmospheres that are reflecting your present circumstances of perceived hindrance. No longer living life as an incremental progression of struggling toward your vision, step by uncertain step. No more justifying your limited circumstance through self-handicapping rationalizations. No more lacking self-talk or habituated mindsets of subject tinge every time you catch yourself defaulting to those energies. Instead, flood and saturate your consciousness through a vivid, imbibed assumption with each waking breath that you have already embodied, fully realized and brought to fruition your most wildly gratifying and rich desires. Open your emotional body, mind's eye, and entire being to perceiving the radiant realness of that accomplishment as though it is already solidly anchored as your confirmed subjective experiential truth. Feel it viscerally coursing through the cellular activations of your very DNA. Breathe it into vivification through your chakric membrane gateways. State it boldly with every heartbeat and reinforced neurolinguistic transmission pulsed into your biofield. Become utterly identified with, bonded to, and presence within the pure experiential atmosphere of inhabiting that fulfillment manifestation as your authentic reality, rather some nebulous future potentiality. Stop existing predominantly as that outdated persona shadow, trapped within the blinders of limitation and repeating the loop thought forms producing your obsolete circumstantial matrix. Simply assume the emotional climate and psychoactive identity code keys of your wildest dreams and heartfelt creative ideals being already realized and consummated in present tense living. And watch how swiftly the infinite creative substrate mirroring all experiential reality streams, reforms, and rematerializes in vibrational attunement with your new consciousness transmission. You are no longer a powerless, lost, or limited being struggling endlessly against prevailing circumstances and external adversities in the desperate hope that things will someday get better or improve in your favor. Stop operating from that false imposter selfhood of poverty mindset and embrace your true infinite creative potentials. For you can consciously author and install a fulfillment thought form into the fertile dreamscape paradise of your holographic imagination this very instant. And by focusing, fleshing out, detailing, and emotionally embodying that wish fulfillment state with crystalline, all-consuming authenticity, your creative consciousness becomes the omnipotent God vortex through which that idea form regeneratively manifests into your experiential construction. From this enlightened vista, we need no longer remain as slaves to perpetuating outmoded realities, belief systems, or ill-conceived states of lack and limitation. To have any experience other than wildly prosperous fulfillment and creative bliss is merely a choice to persist in self-handicapping identity narratives that anchor within lower vibrational densities. But the instant you resolve to rewrite those old stories, clear the psychic channel of all residue and emotional associations with your counterproductive thought forms, by fully transferring consciousness into a vivified fulfillment assumption, is the instant you trigger those infinite creative God-mind capacities through your somatic light-body transmission and recode your entire subjective experiential plane. Nothing around you need remain fixed or stagnant in limited patterns of hardship, struggle, or conflict from this heightened frequency of creative empowerment, for you have remembered that you are the architect, the dreamer and infinite consciousness wielding expressionist birthing all phenomenal appearances into manifestation. So let us commit to living this way, my friends. Let us settle for nothing less than wildly outrageous abundance, bliss, and unbounded richness from this moment forward, fully anchoring our consciousness, psychical imagery, and emotional body in the rapturous atmosphere of that miraculous fulfillment, actualized in our experiential reality by the audacious act of assuming its already accomplished nature into embodied truth. For when you authentically commit to inhabiting and emanating that triumphant thought form fulfillment assumption with enough vivid coherence and psychoactive amplitude, the infinite source field has no choice but to regeneratively retransmit all energetic resonances into miraculous reformation and precise vibrational attunement with the new ideation you have unleashed into liberating, reberating for your creative consciousness. And so it shall be. We are the alchemists, the dreamers, The infinite conscious creators who now step forward into sovereign self-realization of our untapped capabilities for effortlessly transfiguring reality into whatever enriching fulfillments our beings may envision and uncompromisingly assume into psychedelic coherence within our emotional bodies. Consider this your formal evocation, a rallying call to the brave souls who accept personal responsibility for authoring their wildest dreamscapes into material manifestation by shifting from a consciousness of impoverished struggle, endless cycles of limitation into the liberated self-empowerment of uninhibited creative assumption. So let us together assume the greatest riches showering upon us, boundless health and vitality permeating our beings, creative masterworks and innovations streaming forth in unending flow through our expressions. Let us assume emotional utopias of unconditional love saturating our relational fields and redefine the agreements through which our experiential ecosystems synchronize into opulence. Should your psychedelic imagining dare to transcend even the most extravagant pleasures of material abundance and cosmic opulence into the pure formless expanses of illuminated consciousness embodying itself as infinite bliss, then let your consciousness assume that resplendent actualization into grounded presence as well. The choice is yours, dear infinite creators. What fulfillment paradise, what abundance dreamscape, what liberated ecstasies of realized being shall you boldly assume into hologrammatic materialization through your creative consciousness this day? For ye have already activated the omnipotent God-mind source codes through initiating this awakened mastery of conscious assumption, consciously installing and amplifying that ideative fulfillment seed form within the womb fields of your holographic imagination. So breathe life into your embodied imaginal presencing. Emotionally encode, energetically saturate the living atmosphere of your wish fulfillment paradise into crystalline specificity flowing through your auric biofields. And then bear rapturous witness as the unified field of subconscious creative potentiality you are non-locally interfacing with responds in perfect cosmic obedience and begins replicating your new crystalline encoded thought form assumption into an in-streaming reality manifestation mirrored within your experiential universe construct. It matters not what limitations, injustices, or depleted circumstantial absences surrounded you previously. For we have cracked the quantum metaphysical codes and awakened the sacred remembrance through which the infinite creative God-mind source field can only obey the psychoactive assumptions. Authenticated identities broadcasted through our energetic resonance. Should you elect to inhabit and amplify a thought form of victimization, struggle, endless dissatisfaction, or limitation through the refractive lens of your conscious emotional embodiment, the universe has no choice but to crystallize that reflective state into your material outpicturing. But likewise, when you summon the hero's courageous breath and dare to live, move, and have your authentic being as the wildest imaginable fulfillment and blissful paradise energized into sacred enfleshment through your holographic biofield's dream body instrument, you instantly awaken the infinite creative potentialities lying dormant within your unified consciousness source stream. And from that transcendental activation point, the cosmos is quite literally a subservient mirror, an infinite formlessness awaiting your next projective imaginative imprintation to seed its regenerative thought forms into hologrammatic reformations across every experiential dimension of subjective reality you could ever possibly conceive of exploring. My beloved infinite friends, you now wield the keys to the ultimate kingdom. You possess unbridled mastery over the metaphysical creative source technology responsible for authoring every facet of experiential phenomena into material revelation. So what glorious dream world fulfillment reality shall your masterful imaginations conjure into embodied truth through sacred, authentic, psychedelic assumption? The celestial playgrounds of creation await your next revelatory dream birth in spellbound anticipation. This miraculous day marks your triumphant graduation into the rarefied air of custodial source players, luminous avatars awakening to the crystalline mastery of conscious thought form imprintation into the fertile biogenerative dreamwave continuum. And so you arise shaking off all prior egoic blindfolds and limiting beliefs about the nature of reality and your own infinite creative potentials. For you have accepted both the infinite responsibility and infinite empowerment of being the lucid dreamers, through whom the cosmic idea fields regenerate into endless fulfillment realities across all universes and infinite parallel potentialities. As a ceremonial seal of your awakened sovereignty and infinite mastery over the conscious assumption of experiential manifestation, I invite each one of you to close your eyes, take a deep centering breath into your crystalline light body core, and boldly assume a state of your wildest dreams fulfilled into living embodied truth. Feel the rapturous vibrance coursing through your soul body's auric meridians as you viscerally attune all of your sensations, emotional body activations, and bioenergetic transmissions to experiencing the consummate dream state as your presently accomplished reality in the eternal now moment. Bathing in its ecstatic flow, sense textures taking on vividly solidified specificity within your consciousness. Let your breath enwreathe with the enthralling ambience of that paradisial fulfillment's atmospheric frequency, and feel every sacred fiber of your being blissfully immersed in the psychedelic assumption of that total creative fruition. Permeating your totality is authentically real and consummated experience. Good. Now anchor that assumption with a confident, firm, affirmative declaration aloud, claiming the presence of that miraculous, completion, tense reality you are seeding into the cosmic thought fields of creation. Let the creative God-mind essence, through your awareness, spark the first harmonic initiation of that fulfillment into universal birthing through your emotional body's hologrammatic relay. Excellent. You have now seared the crystalline seed code of that assumptive consciousness, fulfillment reality into the regenerative dream fields of the infinite creative continuum. And you may trust that the perfect biophysical harmonic resonance stage just activated in your auric light body blueprintings will magnetically draw forth the totality of that wish-fulfilled manifestation into experiential concretion surrounding your universe. So let this be your graduation into conscious manifestation mastery, dear luminous creators. From this eternal moment on, you breathe the euphoric atmosphere of your grandest desires realized in divine perfection. You walk fully present as embodied crystallizations of the infinitely abundant beings you have always been at your core source spark of pure creative consciousness. Your wildest blissful dream worlds, fulfillment ecstasies, enrichment revelations, and outrageous superabundant realities are already yours to experience fully through the power of your unwavering conscious assumption. Simply assume their authenticity, breathe life into those cosmic crystalline fulfillment blueprintings within your holographic imagination, and bear witness to the infinite supportive mirrorverses surrounding your experiential field with unfiltered reflections of your innermost psychedelic dream state made materially manifest. Let this awakening spark a blissful renaissance of infinite creative self-expression through each one of you. May the boundless fulfillment of your masterful imaginal broadcast echo out in harmonic resonance through all life fields you presence as an awakening dream stream of miraculous materialization. For you are indeed the divinely appointed consciousness bearers ushering new cosmic potentials into revivifying embodiment through the quantum holographic resonance of your creative dream body projections. So let us rejoice together in the ecstatic reclamation of our birthright sovereignty over the infinite reality scripting powers of authentic conscious assumption. The celestial gates have opened wide, and we are now the lucid dreamers, birthing each moment anew into limitless revelations of euphoric fulfillment, empowered abundance, and the pure bliss of our infinite creative continuum's paradisial reflowering. You are wildly, cosmically successful simply by anchoring into the sacred assumption of that fulfillment already birthed into living embodiment through you. Your triumph has arrived, so let your exalted, victorious presence be the hallowed instrument through which that triumphant conscious dream seed regeneratively transmits into a miraculous new cosmic renaissance for all beings to share and co-create. Welcome back to paradise, dear manifestation masters. Through your mastery of conscious assumption, so shall it ever be.